Hey YouTube, it's Critique here with a critique video. Finally. I decided my post and wait method wasn't going to really work out well, and asking artists if they want to be critiqued seemed to insinuate they felt their art needed to be critiqued, which is definitely not the case. Everyone could use improvement, and typically a fresh pair of unbiased eyes can see issues in your piece you may have been unaware of. I personally can't count the number of times my friends have pointed out how I was missing shading and hair, or how my transparent images have been leaking out of the lines, or I drew a backwards hand. I mean, it's really helpful to have someone be able to look out for your stuff, because once you're staring at a piece for several hours, everything starts to kind of mesh together. So I wanted to try and extend the offer to others. The way I'm trying to contact others for critique is by adding their piece from the newest page on DeviantArt. This way it ensures that this is the most current piece for the artist, and then moving forward from there. Now again, I'm keeping my critiques to one image only ordeal for right now. I can only comment on the things I see in the image I'm critiquing, so they may be more obvious comments instead of deep, insightful inquiries. If I feel confident and have people willing for me to critique or review their entire gallery, I might try to step it up from there, but for now, one image. I'm kinda lazy, and so doing multiples would be just exhausting, so one image is probably a good start for me at the moment. Now for my disclaimer. Do not put down these artists or say any ill-intentioned comments about their work. The simple fact they're willing to seek criticism shows they're willing to improve, and it takes a lot of guts to put yourself out here like this. I really admire their bravery and their need to succeed and improve upon themselves, so please be considerate and only give further encouragement or reviews for them too. So, my first critique of the week is going to be MintyTheCatArtist on DeviantArt. They allowed me the honor to critique their OC, Veronica Taylor. So, now that introductions, disclaimers, and all that jazz is out of the way, we'll move on to first impressions. So first and foremost, I love the silly humor with this character. The dark colors, which normally would mean like a brooding character, is kind of a hilarious twist when paired with their silly personality. Like, they don't swear. No swears here. The outfit is a bit bland, but I do like the inclusion of the band-aid to almost assist with where the nose ought to be, since you chose not to draw it, which makes it feel more intentional that the style does not include the nose. Also, since the OC has a fighting spirit, it makes for a good characterization add-on and not a random item you slapped on last second. The style is actually really appealing. It's got a lot of potential to pull some good expressions, as the forefront of the style is the facial features or head. Plus, by excluding the nose, it gives you more room to mess around and pull impossible but interesting expressions. However, it's kind of hard to comment on much further, as it's hard to decipher colors and proportions properly because of the washed out colors and the shaky penmanship. It feels very rushed and not pre-planned. So with that, I'll actually get on to a more analytical portion, which is scripted. So, going into the nitty-gritty, you really need to be looking into improving your traditional method of upload and execution for your future pieces. First off, you need to take a good photo of your artwork. You left a lot of the background showing, and people don't really need to be seeing your bedspread unless it's relevant to the piece. But seeing as it's skewed and just plopped on, I'm going to assume it was an artistic way to border your artwork. Things to help remedy this is to crop this piece down. Most photo opening programs also have editing programs in them as well. Heck, your phone probably has a good array of them too. You can also download specific cropping and photo editing programs in the App Store or Google Play Store. I personally use TinyScanner, which has worked wonders for me in the past. Though I typically use it for documents, I bet it wouldn't be too shabby for traditional artwork. However, if you see yourself doing more and more traditional work in the future, it may not be a bad idea to invest in a scanner. Or if you're broke like me, go leech from your local library scanners and take a USB stick with you to upload and save your scan. Another issue is you gotta make sure you have enough materials to finish the piece. It looks like you ran out of colored pencils when coloring in the clothes, as some areas are hard pressed while others still have white in them. You also need to make sure you color in the same direction, as alternate movements of the pencil shows up in the drawing itself and can be very distracting. There's plenty of handy YouTube videos that show good method for coloring, and I recommend checking them out. Lastly, you need to sketch up your piece before you line it. This is especially needed because you're drawing traditionally and lining what looks to be in permanent ink. Digital medium is very forgiving. Traditional has no mercy. This can also help your shaky line work, as you'll have more confidence in tracing your sketch than you would have freehanding it. It can also help that you practice moving in strokes rather than moving your hand as though you were writing. Because whenever you pause with the ink and are not moving your pen, it blots up and can be very distracting. Moving in strokes is difficult and is personally one thing I still need to work on, but working on it now rather than later can really help, especially if you want to continue working traditionally, as the same thing can be applied to many other mediums like painting. But your blotting could be intentional at that point. And initially, I wanted to try to redraw this in your style, but I was having a lot of difficulties, so I decided just to do it in my style to hopefully give a good general idea of what needs to be fixed.
Again, thank you so much for allowing me to take the time to critique this. You were my first person to critique, and if you have any critiques for myself on how to do a better job in the video, like my editing for instance, please let me know. I appreciate any kind of commentary on that, because I really want to try to do a good job here. Again, thank you so much, and CrittyBat out!